We talk a lot about early diagnosis for autism on this show.
Mm-hmm.
It's super important, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking lately about what comes next.
Right?
You know what happens to autistic people as they grow older?
Absolutely.
That's what today's deep dive is all about.
Okay.
We're looking at this article from Cheap ABA.
Okay.
It's called Autism and Ageism, the Unspoken Struggle.
Interesting.
And we really want to understand why this is such a big deal.
Yeah. No, it's a huge issue.
To start us off, what is ageism exactly?
So ageism is basically just discrimination
Right.
based on how old somebody is,
Gotcha.
and how it shows up in the autistic community can be kind of surprising.
Really? In what way?
Well, the article makes this point about autism being lifelong,
Right.
but everyone's always focused on kids.
That's true.
So you get the situation where, like,
Yeah.
say you're an adult and you're just starting to realize,
Right.
maybe I'm autistic.
Okay.
You're going to get diagnosed, right? And some doctors just won't believe you
Oh, wow.
because in their heads, autism equals children.
It's like they
That
think
kind of thing.
autistic people disappear when they turn 18 or something.
Yeah, and the article mentions the statistic. It's pretty shocking.
What is it?
A lot of older adults are misdiagnosed, or they never even got a diagnosis,
Because of their age.
only because they're older.
And it's not just about a label, right?
No, not at all.
It's about getting help and support.
Exactly, and understanding, too.
Yeah.
So much of that is missed.
Right. Like all these people who could have been helped,
Exactly.
but nobody even knew.
It's a real loss.
So even if someone does get that diagnosis later in life,
Hmm.
are there even resources out there for them?
That's the other thing.
The article made it seem like there wasn't much.
There's not enough, that's for sure.
Okay.
Most of what exists is for kids.
Right.
It's like people design these programs and completely forgot that kids grow up.
Right. And then on top of that,
Oh, and it gets worse.
you've got this broader problem of ageism.
Oh, yeah. Ageism affects everyone as they get older.
But it's got to be even harder for autistic adults.
It's like a double whammy,
Okay.
They face ableism because they're autistic,
Right.
and then ageism piles on top of that.
Wow. I hadn't thought about it like that.
It's a tough combination.
So you're basically dealing with two types of discrimination
Yeah, basically,
at the same time.
it's a lot to deal with.
The article mentioned something about social isolation too.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Like sometimes I feel a little awkward in social situations,
Right.
just trying to figure out what to do.
I get that.
Imagine how much harder it is
Yeah,
if you're autistic.
definitely.
And then on top of that, you're also older. And
And society already pushes older people aside.
it's a recipe for loneliness, isn't it?
It really is.
It's like, as an autistic adult,
Yeah,
you're not welcome anywhere.
pretty much.
Most places just aren't built for you.
Yep.
And the article talks about how that leads to all sorts of problems.
Right, mental health especially.
It's a bleak picture, honestly.
Yeah, that's not great.
We got to do better.
I agree.
So we've painted kind of a depressing picture here.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I'm really hoping that the article also offers some hope,
Oh, it does. It does.
some solutions,
Absolutely.
things that we can actually do.
Yeah, it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay, good.
The article lays out 3 main areas
Okay.
where we need to focus.
Let's hear them.
Education, inclusive support, and empowerment.
Okay, those sound promising.
Yeah, they're all important pieces of the puzzle.
So let's start with education.
Okay, so
What does that look like?
you know how public awareness campaigns can really change things?
Yeah.
Like those old "don't drink and drive" ads,
Right.
or the ones about recycling.
Yeah, those are classic.
We need something like that for autism and aging.
So it's about changing people's minds, basically.
Exactly. We got to get rid of those old stereotypes.
Show people what it's really like.
And not just kids, autistic adults, too.
The whole spectrum.
The whole spectrum, exactly.
And it's not just the public that needs educating.
Right, absolutely.
Like doctors and therapists.
Professionals, yeah.
They need to understand this stuff too.
They need training, for sure.
So they can actually help.
Right, provide the right kind of support.
Okay, that makes sense.
It all starts with knowledge.
But what about the second one? That inclusive support.
Yes.
How do we actually make that happen?
This is where we need to get a little creative.
Okay. I love
We
it.
need support systems specifically for autistic adults.
Not just repurposed kids stuff.
No, totally new stuff.
Gotcha.
Think like support groups where they can connect with each other.
Yeah.
Therapy that's actually tailored to their needs.
Mm.
And we got to make workplaces more accommodating.
Oh.
That's a good point.
Yeah, inclusivity shouldn't stop at the office door.
Imagine a workplace where being autistic is a good thing.
Right. Not something to hide.
Yeah, where their strengths are actually valued.
I love that.
It's totally possible.
Okay, so we've got education, We've got inclusive support.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one was empowerment.
Empowerment, yes.
What does that mean in this context?
It means giving autistic adults control over their own lives,
Okay.
helping them advocate for themselves.
Instead of other people always doing it for them.
Exactly. It's about self-determination.
It's about respecting them as people,
Exactly.
not as patients or clients.
They're not charity cases, you know?
No, they're just people.
They deserve respect and autonomy
Totally.
and the ability to make their own choices.
And we have to challenge those assumptions
Right. The ones that say they can't do things.
that they need to be taken care
Daring
of.
to believe in them.
This is all great in theory,
Yeah.
but are there actually examples of this working?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
There's this organization, I don't want to name them, but they're doing amazing work.
Tell me about it.
They've got this program specifically for autistic adults,
Hmm.
helping them transition into later life stages.
Like retirement and stuff.
Exactly, things like that.
What makes their program so special?
It's entirely peer-led.
What does that mean?
Autistic adults run the whole thing.
Wow.
They design the workshops, the support groups, everything.
So it's by autistic adults, for autistic adults.
Exactly, they're sharing their own experiences.
That's amazing.
It's really powerful.
What kind of impact has it had?
Oh, huge.
Like what?
People are feeling less isolated,
Mm,
more confident, more connected to their community.
that's fantastic.
They're also becoming leaders themselves,
Inspiring others.
mentoring younger autistic people.
It's a ripple effect.
It really is.
Proof that this stuff works.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure it's not always easy, right?
Oh, definitely not.
What are some of the challenges?
Funding is always a big one.
I bet.
It's hard to find money specifically for autistic adults. And then there's the issue of accessibility.
In what way?
Transportation, technology, even just physical spaces.
That can make things tough.
It's a constant struggle.
And that's why this conversation is so important.
Absolutely.
It's not just for experts.
No, it's for everyone.
This is about real people's lives.
It affects all of us.
So we've talked about the problems, the really tough stuff,
Yeah.
but we've also heard about some solutions.
Some real glimmers of hope.
That makes me feel better, honestly.
Me too. It's not all bad news out there.
And for me, the biggest takeaway has got to be empowerment.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like really giving autistic adults the power to shape their own lives.
To make their own choices.
And that benefits everyone, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about helping autistic people,
It's about working together.
learning from each other.
Creating a world that works for everyone.
I like that.
It's about collaboration, not charity.
But I'm also wondering,
Yeah.
when we talk about empowerment, are we putting too much pressure on autistic people?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like, are we saying it's all on them to fix things?
I see what you mean.
It's not fair to make them do all the work.
No, it's a shared responsibility.
We all need to step up.
Everyone has a role to play.
Policymakers, educators, all of
They
them.
need systemic change.
And that makes me think about accessibility.
Okay, yeah.
We've talked about making resources more accessible.
Right, like physical spaces and stuff.
But what about advocacy itself?
Interesting.
Like, how do we make it easier
For people to speak up.
for autistic adults to have their voices heard?
That's a crucial question.
Because advocacy doesn't have to be this big, scary thing.
No, not at all.
It can be as simple as sharing your story,
With a friend, with
a-
family,
a blog post,
joining an online group,
meeting people where they are.
and amplifying their voices.
It's about recognizing that everyone has something to contribute.
Exactly. That's the beauty of neurodiversity.
Yeah, instead of seeing autism as something to cure,
Mm.
we're starting to see the value in different ways of thinking.
Different ways of being.
And that's a powerful shift.
It really is.
So, for everyone listening out there,
Yeah, what can they do?
think about how you can be a better ally.
Not just during Autism Awareness Month.
But every single day,
What small step can you take?
maybe it's educating yourself,
Reading a book, watching a documentary,
supporting organizations led by autistic people,
donating your time, your money.
speaking up when you see injustice,
Even those small actions can make a difference.
because change starts with each of us.
It's a collective effort.
And this deep dive has been a great reminder of that.
This article from Cheap ABA was a great starting point.
Yeah, it got us thinking
Challenged our assumptions.
and hopefully inspired some of you listening.
To learn more, to do more.
So, on that note,
Yeah.
we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Keep learning, keep questioning
Keep pushing for a better world.
for autistic people of all ages.
And for everyone, really.
See you next time.